Randy, this is Doug Sanders, your friend and your caddy. Just calling to say hi to you. Hope that you're doing well. And I'm in Houston. I'm going to go out and hit some balls in a little bit. So take good care. Give me a call and tell me what's happening in the world.
Waking up and it's a brand new day, glimmering in the morning light.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and this is U.S. Open Week, and this is old Uncle Randy coming to you high atop the 48th floor overlooking beautiful southwest Wisconsin and northern Illinois. And it is a spectacular week, and we have a spectacular show lined up to support that. This has been an incredible day of watching what was going on at the course and watching the players trying to adapt to the conditions and the speed of the greens. But anyway, I want to say thank you to my old friend, Doug Sanders, for always opening the show, and hope he's having a great time looking down at this U.S. Open. It would be one of those things he certainly wanted to win, and he finished second in all four majors through his life. Doug was a great guy and a great friend. But anyway, we always wanted to let you know that you always can find our show, Happy Hour Lifestyle Show, on our excitedmindsmediatv.com. You can also find Excited Minds Media on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and you also can find Excited Minds Media on Roku and Fire TV. And we have all of our shows up there, and we've done some great features in the last couple of weeks, which you'll find a 3-part series that we did about why people believe the things that ain't so. And Robert Mills just got back from Europe, and we're going to be having some dialogue and continuing that. You also can go to Buzzsprout and find the Distillery channel there for our podcast, where these shows are put into a podcast. But anyway, this show is brought to you by Rock Bottom Golf, Cheapo Air, and Luxury Hotels. And if you go to the Distillery Channel Media.com website, you'll see right there links to great opportunities to find places to stay and play and have some fun, and at really reasonable rates. Luxury hotels that I've looked at, we're lining up to make some visits coming up soon. So enough of that. But this week, a few of the headlines going forth is that this is going to be a great test of all the players' skills, because I'm telling you, this course is the greens are running, I guess, on one of the greens at 15.2, but somewhere around 14. And if you've taken a look at any of the film of where they drop a golf ball in the middle of the green and it ends up 80 yards away, it's a nightmare. Tiger early this week had a 9-hole, supposedly. He played a couple days ago, had a 29. So was Tiger back? Actually, he could be. His son is there with him, and I'm sure that's really a great feeling for a dad. And on Father's Day weekend, traditional weekend of the U.S. Open ending. But what a wide open field through all kinds of qualifications all around the world. There's opportunities to get into the U.S. Open, and well over 10,000 applications, stretching from the age of 12 to the age of 74. People tried to qualify to get into the U.S. Open. And if people don't know, there are 2 rounds of qualifying. There's an 18-hole round that you have to go through and finish in the top. No, it depends on the size of the field, but it could be any. You could have maybe 1 or 2 spots, depending on the size of the field. There could be, like in Chicago, there might be 10 to 12 spots that would go on to the next round. But all over the country and different places around the world, they do have qualifyings. And that first round will get you into the second round. The first round is 18 holes. The second round then becomes a 36-hole all day, the longest day in golf. But I'll tell you what, it's really great. One of the stories, Adam Scott this year, he's been in 92 straight majors, which is amazing to think about it. He ended up being an alternate, and it turns out that with the way that things shook out, there was a spot that opened up, and Adam got into the 93rd major of his life, which is truly great. If you ever meet Adam Scott, true gentleman and a guy no more deserving to be in this than Adam Scott. John Rahm had to pull out. He has an infection between his little toe and the toe next to it, and he thought best that it would be best to stay home. But boy, what a field. If you take a look at, Scotty Scheffler coming off of his year, hopefully I don't want to say he should avoid jail, but it's really a good thing that that whole episode is behind him. We wish good luck to Rory and his wife, who are now going to try to maintain their marriage and go forward, which is great when you have a baby. And it's tough being in golf. I'm telling you, some of the things you read, you hate to put any meaning into it, but I'm sure with his wife, it was, with Rory being gone all the time, it's rough raising a baby, and it's rough for any golfing family to have dad on the road all the time, coming home for a couple of days and then packing, washing the clothes, and you're just down the road. And from the experience that I had, and I didn't play at the level of, get on tour or anything like that, but I've played enough golf and certainly been around golf to know that it is a lonely, lonely sport. And if with these big teams that people now have in place, and what I mean by that is they have their coach, they might have a full swing coach, a putting coach, a mental coach, physio people, just an incredible amount of people that they bring with them. That's why they rent houses, to try to, keep some sanity when they're on the road. So they're not living in their room and ordering, sitting in their room and just having food delivered at night. Some people like it. Some pros don't have a problem traveling alone. But if you're a young kid, or it doesn't make any difference. If you don't like being alone and you're missing your family, it's really, really tough. But the US Open is other things that went on this week is that they honored new inductees into Golf's Hall of Fame, and Padraig Harrington, Xander Palmer, and Tom Weiskopf, certainly meaningful people in the world of golf. All of the rest of the women in the LPGA, that the original founding member women that hadn't been brought into the world of golf, they were brought into the Hall of Fame this week, and truly a great honor for them. The Bobby Jones Award was given to Tiger Woods, and basically, to explain what the Bobby Jones Award has been around for a long time, what that is for a commitment to golf, basically for sportsmanship and what they bring into the world of golf. And I thought you might be interested to know on that list of people that have won it in the past, because if you don't follow this, it would be pretty hard to keep up with it. And sometimes they're not all named players. There's people on the list that I certainly don't know, and I've been around golf for a long time. But people, of course, like Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and Gene Littler, Byron Nelson, Gary Player, Charles Coe, Patty Berg, Horton Smith, to say a few. When I went over this list today, back when I was playing golf on trying to play on a national level, there was a gentleman by the name of Jay Siegel, and he was the preeminent amateur that played in many USGA events and truly deserved it. Who followed him, and that was in 1984 when Jay won the Bobby Jones Award. But Tom Watson, Chichi Rodriguez, Peggy Kirk Bell, Ben Crenshaw, PJ Boatwright, just gold standard, Nancy Lopez, just incredible people, Judy Rankin. I'm only mentioning a few of the highlights. Tom Kite, Ben Hogan, of course, Jackie Burke Jr., Nick Price. All of these people are just the gold standard of the world of golf and the Bobby Jones Award. If you've never read anything about Bobby Jones, you should go back if you're in the world of golf and read how he experienced golf. For the newcomers, there's a lot of newcomers, and I'm sorry for the people that know this, but back in the 1920s, Bobby Jones basically didn't practice that much. He practiced for about 6 weeks before any major. He played in the 4 majors back then were the British Amateur, the US Amateur, the British Open, and the US Open. They were not like they are today. One of the terms they used was the quadrilateral. Bobby Jones didn't win them all 4 in 1 year, so it was called the Grand Slam. Tiger Woods won the Tiger Slam. He did own all 4, where he won 3 in 1 year and then followed it up with the Masters in the next, so they call that the Tiger Slam. But Bobby Jones never became a professional, and he retired at an early age, and then went on, of course, to have some connections to Eastlake, and then, of course, decided to build Augusta National. But the history of Bobby Jones is well worth it. Give you a history assignment. Go dig out a book, find about Bobby Jones, and really take a look at. There's some YouTube film of his swing. I'm not sure that you could replicate it, but there are a few things that you could learn in his swing and how accurate he was. It was truly, truly amazing. But you can think back then when he played that if you wanted, they didn't measure the speed of greens back in the 1920s, but maybe the speed of the greens might be maybe 7 or 8, the same as the speed of the greens of the fairways today and down at the course that they're playing this in the US Open. So we have Dr. Richard Yang joining us, and he'll be here in a few minutes. And I'll be right back, getting Richard all set up, and we're going to be talking about predictions. And Dr. Yang has an amazing outlook on the historical perspective of golf from a very, very different way. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back in a minute. Anyway, we are now back, and as I promised, the guru of golf is sitting next to me. And with all the numbers spinning around in his head, Dr. Richard Yang is it's a US Open week. It's a major week. He has astounded me with his knowledge and understanding of the world of golf. Anyway, Richard, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Yeah, it is good to be back. Wednesday night and looking at the major ahead. So what are your thoughts looking at this little pitch and putt course they're playing?
Well, I think obviously accuracy is the big thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I when I looked at my top 10, I've got a few players with good accuracy, top 10 accuracies in there. So
well, so tell us about how you go about picking your top 10. Give us some historical perspective. Of course, this area of the world has become sort of the cradle of home of golf for America. They had this week the Hall of Fame induction of Tom Weiskopf and Sandra Palmer and Padraig Harrington, and the founders of women's golf that had been brought in before. And so now, they've sort of consolidated everything down in this particular area. Basically, this is the home of golf, and there'll be a lot of US Opens, and there's been a lot there before. So what are your thoughts about this being a major, and who you're going to, look at in terms of your thoughts of who you think's going to do well and who you think's not?
Well, when it comes to majors, it's different than looking at regular tournaments. Majors, I usually look at the history. You have to have some type of history of doing well in the majors. Although, of all the majors, at least in recent years, the US Open has a lot of first-time winners in major history. The last 5 US Open have been all new majors. No,
Really?
That was the first major, yeah. And I think since the 90s, there have been three streaks of 5 years where there were new winners. That the only other time that's happened since World War II is once in the British Open, and that was in the what was that? That was in the 50s, I think. So three times since the 90s that it's happened in the U.S. Open. There's a lot of new. It's very unpredictable. Although I still go with the major history. It's a player that has that background of doing well in majors, because it's not the same as regular tournament. I mean,
No.
Brooks Koepka can speak to that.
Yeah. Jack Nicklaus always looked at the list of who was playing, and he would look at, I think, the bottom 85 and just throw those away. I hate to say it, they're great players.
Yes.
But then he thought, well, then he'd take a look at the next 40 and go, they ain't got a chance. I only got to beat these 20 guys.
Yeah.
So that was his past look. And I think that's sort of today. It's really hard when I took a lot of thought on, looking through that whole field. And it's going to be interesting to see how we compare. But so you're saying the last 5 majors have all been first-time winners?
The last 5 U.S. Opens have all been
Last 5
first-time
US Opens.
major winners. Yeah, the U.S.
That
Open
is-
tends to have those streaks quite a few. That's like I said, it's the third time since the 90s. They had 5 years of new major winners.
That is amazing. Gosh, that's what I love having you on, because who comes up with that statistic? That's incredible. So looking at the list, let's get into it, because that's what we're here to talk about. Are you picking a first-time winner to win?
No. No. I know it goes against the odds, but you know what? If you go with the odds, the longest streak has been 5, so this should break it this year.
Oh, there you go. So that's a new one. So if we got a first-time winner, it sets a new, pertaining to your statistics, it would be 6 times first-time winner.
Right. Yeah, and that's never happened before, and at least since World War II. Obviously, if I went back to 1933, 34, you would have a lot of first-time winners, because the Masters would be all first-time winners. A lot of them would be first-time
Wow.
winners.
Wow. Yeah. Well, let's get at it. We're going to pick 10, and the way we're going to do this now is that we pick 10, and then the total money earnings will determine the champion at the end. And we always start at the tail end, and we can pick the same people. It's not a problem, but I'll pick your sheet, which I'm sure is going to be the sheet that has all the knowledge on it, and then mine, which is going to be it's going to be
Well,
I don't know what it's going to be.
well, you have knowledge. You have a different type of knowledge than I have. Mine is more statistical and also gut feeling, based on just watching.
Well, I'll tell you what, mine basically is, I've been, I watch a lot of the tournaments, and I look at form, the people that pop up. I don't really look at their statistics. It's just people that I've seen and noticed in the past weeks that have popped up and played on. But the TV camera doesn't really show you much past the last 2 or 3 groups.
Yeah.
You got to sort of dive deep into the other 20 or pay attention. And mine is going to be on feeling, and yours is going to be based upon really good research. So anyway, we will start with your first, which will be picked slot 10 who is your first coming out of the?
I went with Justin Thomas.
Wow.
He hasn't been playing super well, but he is a grinder, and he does like to grind. And obviously, the U.S. Open is a very grinding tournament, so that's more of a gut feeling.
Well, I am. My list is, boy, this one. I'm still looking at it, and I said I'm gonna be a late call, but mine is going to be number 10 is Sepp Straka.
Mm-hmm.
He's been playing really well, and he's been playing really well all year. And he sunk a putt in the last tournament to put about $500,000 in his pocket. It was a chip. And I think at Jack's place, the only birdie on 18. But he's finished up there. So number 9.
I have Sepp Straka also.
Did you really?
Yeah, he's extremely accurate golfer. I think he's the second most accurate in terms of staying in the fairway and accuracy. I think he's number 2. So I went with accuracy with that one. And I know he's played well in the majors recently.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, maybe I'm not that off base then. That could be an interesting one. I'm going to put him down a little bit in this, but I've got Ludwig Aberg in number 9, and Oberg, and he's coming off a knee problem. I mean, this is only his third major he's played in. Of course, he's gone from 856th in the world a year ago to, I think, 11th spot in the world. Greatest guy and one of the best swings, but we'll see how that happens. How about number 8?
Well, just so you know, I had Ludwig Oberg at number 9 also. I took him out in the last second.
Okay.
Just so you know, I took him out because he didn't answer the question about his knees. And if he doesn't answer the question, that usually means that the knee is probably still bothering him.
Yeah.
So I second guessed that. So I did take him out in the last second, put in Thomas instead.
All right.
Number 8, I put McElroy. I'm always going to put him in the top 10, but he's always been a lower part just because, as I said in the past, I just don't. He always seems to be on the outside, and then has a rally in the last 2 days to get in the top 5 or top 10.
Right.
The last time he's won the U.S. Open is 13 years, and statistically speaking, nobody's ever won the U.S. Open in that long of a time span in between victories. The longest is 11. And that was with Julius Burrows and who's the other guy? Oh, I can't read my handwriting. Oh yeah, Harold Irwin was the other one at Medina when he won in 1990. The next one was 10 years, and that was that was Gene Sarazen. So, like I said, to have that time difference between time span, no one's ever done that before in the U.S. Open. Doesn't mean it can't be done, but like I don't have great feel for Rory in terms of these majors anymore.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And strangely, my number 8 is Rory McIlroy.
Wow. Wow.
So same reasons. I mean, he's obviously he's getting back together with his wife. They put that aside. The court's been notified and all the paperwork has been withdrawn. And hopefully just for him, that was a tough spot. I think that whole situation it's tough living with a golfer when he's gone a lot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is strange though how he would use a police officer to serve the wife. I thought that was a little strange, but
my understanding was it was actually a guy that he knew. It was
okay.
Yeah, it was like I think he was trying to do it. It was actually a friend, but that's not a friendly situation.
No, it's just a tough situation to put a friend in. Also.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. All right, number 7.
Okay, so this is another one of my possible first timers. I only have like 3, I think, possible first timers. It's Sahith Theegala.
All right.
Yeah.
Good pick.
He's been playing well, obviously, and he's a long hitter. And, if I'm going to pick some first time winners, I feel good about him.
Very good. Well, I've got in that slot Victor Hovland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. And even though he's coming back, I mean, he had the change early in the year. He gave up his coach, and now he's got his coach back. He's back playing well again. So it was so hard now going from after this part for me to now lay in my next pick. So number 6.
This is my last of my first time possible winners is Fleetwood, Tommy Fleetwood. Wow. He's an accurate hitter too. I think he's the number 3 in accuracy. So like I said, I went with the accuracy for Pinehurst. So
that is really good. I saw him actually went up at Erin Hills, and I think he finished 3rd up there. I could be wrong at that, but he played really, really well. He's always been on my vision board, but not this time. I have Will Zalatoris.
Wow.
And Willie Z I think his back is okay, but he's always played really, really well in the majors. Really well. And he just finds a way to do it. And I think he can dial it back a little bit and hit these greens. So number 5.
My number 5 is Koepka.
Yeah.
Brooks Koepka. Yeah. I mean, he obviously has 2 U.S. Opens already. He's a long hitter. The tough part of Brooks Koepka is you can't judge him based on these tournaments in between. He doesn't really care about those tournaments. It's kind of like Nick Faldo. He didn't care about the tournaments in between. He only cared about the majors. I mean, I think Nick Faldo only won 9 total PGA tournaments, and 6 of them were majors. So he only won 3 tournaments outside the majors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was hard.
I'm going to match your live player with my live player, and that's DeChambeau.
Okay.
And he, of course, won the US Open already once, but the reason I went that way, I believe his short game, I think he's a mental strategist. And
Yes.
the interviews that I heard this week is that he's really got a game plan. He's not going to mind using a 6-iron off the greens only to hit it 230 yards, so.
Obviously, he has a long. He's a long driver, so that's a definite advantage if he can keep in the fairway.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, this course is so hard. You need therapy when you're done playing this one. This one, I believe this was the course that one of the players years ago, John Daly, got so fed up with it on the hills, he started batting the ball up. He told him he couldn't stop moving. He had had enough. All right, fourth pick.
Or I have Hovland. I like him. I like him as a player. Obviously, I've picked him in the past.
Yeah.
He won the FedEx Cup last year, and of course, he struggled a little bit earlier this year, but he seems to be back. And he's always been close to the majors. Hasn't gotten it yet. Oh, actually, he's another first-time possible winner. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, mine in that slot is going to be Schauffele.
Oh, okay.
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 And again, he's just playing so well. I mean, he's this year the only guy playing better than him is Scotty. And Schauffele's just got the game and the mental fortitude to tough. This is a mental game.
Yes.
This is not a golf game. This is trying to keep the cells contained.
Yeah, the U.S. Open's always like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough mental. You have to keep your mental wits because you're going to have a lot of bad shots. You
Yeah.
just can't. You just have to move on from that last shot.
Yeah. It's who can clean the filter the quickest and move on. Tiger, I read this week that Tiger gave himself 10 steps after a bad shot. He would take 10 steps after the bad shot, and then he had put it out of his mind, whatever happened. Yeah,
I like that.
sort of an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, that's good.
Day before. So now we're getting down into some nitty gritty area here.
Now, hopefully with Tiger, his shot was further than 10 steps, so that he can get it out.
It was. I think he's perfection. Number 3.
I went with Bryson DeChambeau.
Bryson,
So,
okay.
yeah. He's a major player.
Yeah.
It's hard to judge him because he's on the Live Tour, but he's a major player, and he's a long hitter. So
I
we'll
hate
see.
to say
And
I look at the Live Tour as the immaculate buddy trip where those guys go over and they work in their game. They never have long rough. They have center pins, and they go and they work in their game, and that's okay. I mean, I think it's great. That's what you're doing, and of course now with the majors, all the guys on Live, they get pretty excited about being in the majors. They're back amongst fans. Fans love them. There's not that. I think it's just getting better. I think we love seeing them. And if they can get in, I think they have 13, 14 this year.
tournaments, yeah.
They can get in. And the USGA said today, while today they can always go qualify, they qualify to get into the final stage, but there might be some new additions next year.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah, to make it a little bit easier for them. So my number 3 is Colin Morikawa.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
He's my number 2. So
All right. Colin.
I love Morikawa. I picked him a lot, and he's played in the final pairing in both of the last majors, and on top of that, the Memorial too. So he's always there, very close. He's also the most accurate golfer.
Yeah.
He's number 1.
So my number 2, okay, Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, okay.
And only because I had to reserve the other one for number 1. So your number 1,
It's Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler.
He's a top 10 accurate player. Obviously, he's on a roll. He's won 5 tournaments this year, and the one thing I noticed out of the blue is when he won this first tournament, he won the week after. When he won the next tournament, he won the week after. So this is the 5th tournament. So if you go by pattern, he should be winning this one too.
I know it, and you're right on, spot on. But drum roll, please. My number 1 to win this tournament, Tiger Woods.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. It is some snippets that I've seen, some snippets that I've heard. On Tuesday, he went out and played a practice round, 9 holes, shot 29.
Wow.
He has his son there helping him, and his son knows his swing very, very well. But I think that this is going to be one of those tournaments where you need a lot of knowledge. The course actually is flat. There's very few hills. It does have a sand base in the fairway, so he might want to walk in the rough while there's not a lot of rough. But I think he's going to be able to get around. My understanding is that he's been working out and he's feeling really good and he's looking really good and everybody's going, oh my, and nobody's picking him because logically you wouldn't.
Everybody but you.
Everybody but me. And I when you can go shoot a 29 on, I don't care. He played a practice round with Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, and I can't remember who the third one was, one of the young guys. And it was really hard. I think Jordan Spieth is going to do well, but I didn't put him on my list. Neither did you.
Yeah.
And he's got the short game for this golf course, you know?
Yeah. I had Xander and John Ram and Cam Smith as my possible other choices, and Oberg. But like I said, I took him out in the last second.
Yeah, John Rahm, is not in the tournament.
Oh, he's not.
No,
Oh.
he had
I saw him on the thing.
he had a foot infection.
Oh, wow.
And they knew it last week. Excuse me for coughing, but yeah, between his little toe on his left foot and his ring toe, I guess you'd call it, he had a cut and then it got infected. And
I not heard about that. When did he pull out?
2 days ago.
Okay, because I looked at the list and that was a couple days ago. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, he is home now. One of the funny things is, and John Rahm is great, but one of the, this live PGA, who's tougher, who's not, and the guys in the PGA said, "Well, wait a minute, let's see. Tiger won one on a broken leg, and this guy's
Yeah.
he's on for a cut on his pinky toe. Really? Are we a little soft? I mean, whatever." So it was just funny. I don't want to put it, anything more than that. You always want to wish him well and have a great field, but
Right.
that was a funny comment, though. I mean, it was.
That was, yeah.
So, but when you win Tigers, it's going to be 95 degrees both Saturday and Sunday. The ball is going to fly really far because of the hot conditions, and they're going to have to dial it down a little bit. But Tiger, there's just something. Tiger has not said very much. He looks great. I saw a few of his swings. He looks like people saying he's walking well, so it's about, he's going to have all the conditions that meet up right. No rain, hot weather. Of course, he's from, Southern Florida. He's used to that hot weather.
Yeah.
It's all good. So
It would be an incredible story.
yeah.
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 What is he, 48? I'm going on 49, I think.
Yeah. Be
Yeah.
49 next December, I think. And
Yeah.
so he's a young 48. He's just a kid. So
Hey, well, Phil won at almost 51. And I mean, Tiger's better than Phil, so we'll see.
there's actually a lot of people that think Phil has a chance in this just because of his short game.
I think Phil's a chance too. I mean, he's 53, I think, right now.
Right.
Turning 54 very soon, like in a week or two. But I think Phil has, from what I've seen, he's up and down right now because he's not as consistent. He has good tournaments and he has not so good tournament.
Yeah.
So this could be a good tournament for him. But obviously this is a big one for him because this would be complete his career Grand Slam. He would be number 6. Yeah.
Well,
So
6 second places. He said he thinks 6 second places don't add up to 1 first place. No.
Point wise, in terms of how you figure out my points and place golfers ranking by the points, it does count as more than 1 first place.
Yeah.
But it doesn't count for the career Grand Slam.
No, it doesn't. Actually, that's a goal. Bryson announced in his press conference that his goal is to win the Grand Slam. I mean, so
Yeah, I think that should be a lot of golfers' goal. I mean, obviously, you want to win your tournaments, but to win on 4 different courses, the way they're set up, tells you a lot about certain greatness to be able to play at any course.
Well, I was, before you came on, I was doing a little preamble on Bobby Jones. The Bobby Jones Award this week was given out to Tiger. And it's a great list of names, and it's for sportsmanship and giving back to the game of golf. Nobody deserves it more than Tiger. But Bobby Jones, I suggested to people, there's so many people coming into the game of golf. Growth right now is crazy. The PGA Summit, buying summit's going to be at the end of July, which I'm going to with media credentials. And this is for basically soft goods. They have to order, country clubs and such have to order the clothing lines in the middle of the summer, so they're delivered next January and February, and there may be some Christmas orders. So this one's going to be at the PGA, new home of the PGA in Frisco, Texas.
Yes.
And I was told today, all of this is very, very rare, but all the spots for participants, it's sold out. I mean,
wow.
they're going to have bands a couple nights, and they're going to, it's going to be a real scenario. But it's going to be my 42nd attending a merchandise show for the PGA.
Wow.
42nd time, yeah. So it's it goes back, yeah. Do the math. Goes back into the 80s.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
I've been doing it for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been, I'm very good friends with the principal people that run it, and it's fun to have media credentials. But the world of golf is doing well. And if you're not in the world of golf, go get some clubs. And we have to wrap this up, and I can't wait till next week. It's going to be a great 4 days. Did you have any other final thoughts, Dr. Yang?
Yeah, a couple of quick ones. Colin Morikawa is a big tournament for him because if he gets this, he's at the cusp of a career Grand Slam. This will give him his 3 legs. And for Brooks Koepka, he would get the double triple, meaning 3 PGA and 3 US Opens. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players have a double triple. In fact,
really,
yeah, Nicklaus and Woods have a quadruple triple. But players Snead and Bobby Jones and Nick Faldo are the only ones with double triple. So
did you say Nicklaus does have a double triple, triple?
He has a quadruple triple. He has at least 3 on all 4. So does Tiger Woods. So they have a triple Grand Slam, career Grand Slam.
Man, isn't that amazing? That's just, it's amazing. And watching both of those careers, I was telling somebody this week, I've been so privileged to watch both Tiger's and Jack's career from when they started. I mean, I was only 11, and TV just came into being in 1960 when Jack won his first U.S. amateur, and his name popped up. And then the classic Arnie at the Masters when the world of golf started, and Arnie won that Masters, and the love fest began with Arnold Palmer. And actually, I remember sitting in the den with my dad. My dad said, "Hey, come in here and watch this," black and white TV. And my dad really wasn't a golfer, but he thought that was important to watch that because it was a black and white, fuzzy, Masters tournament. Didn't know anything about it. What does it mean? But to be, for myself, bookending both, see, I never thought, my wildest imagination, I'm fortunate to be the age I'm at and to have seen Tiger do the things he did. But now with Scotty Scheffler starting a whole new 3rd chapter, man.
Yeah, I didn't get to catch Jack. I got him more at the tail end. Maybe he was aware of the 80s a little bit when he won 2, but definitely was very aware of the 86 one of the Masters.
Yeah. No, he and Arnie, I looked at them play, but I loved the way Jack played. Jack was very methodical. He just played to the high percentage areas, and he had a target score that he wanted to shoot, and he would go through that list of who's playing, and then in his mind, he just said, "I'm going to get that score, and these guys aren't going to compete with me anyway." And there used to be an old saying is that, Tiger knows, that he knows that that he's going to beat you, and to watch him methodically on the Sundays in his yellow sweater, I looked at it and I said, well, I hit the ball pretty straight. I can do that. That's literally, that started me trying to go down that path, not being that good, obviously. And there were no really instructors back when in the 70s. I was telling a friend of mine, they said, well, how'd you ever start playing the Illinois Amateur? And I said, I didn't even know what it was. I mean, You know, the world of golf is so different, not so many great players around. But you know, you could try to get through these qualifyings. And when I played in US Open qualifyings, you'd end up playing with guys from tour. You know, you go
Yeah.
into Chicago, I played in Medina, the 36 hole second round qualifier at Medina. And I was playing with Jay Haas, you know, all day. It was amazing. You
I
know,
Jay Haas, I think he is just because you brought him up, trivial thing. He has the most. I think he has the most appearances ever in a golf tournament. He's
really,
played. I think it's Jay Haas, yeah, and he's one of the most participant in majors without ever winning a major.
really.
Yeah.
What statistics? So next week, here's your assignment. I want to get you to give us, because I don't want to overstep these tidbits that you have. Give you a whole week. Come up with all those facts, and we're going to spend before we do our picks for the next tournament. I want to spend some time going over those tidbits that you have. Those are really fascinating. Nobody has those.
Okay. Sure.
If that's okay. I mean, I don't want
Oh,
to
yeah.
tell you what to do, but those things are just nobody has that. That's what Dr. Yang is all about. So now you got me curious. I'm going like, okay, that can't be looking forward to that. Anyway, we got to scoot. We're about out of time. And we will look forward to reconvening next week at getting ready for the next tournament is actually another elevated event. So right after the US Open be the last elevated event of the
The
year.
signature, right? It's called signature event.
Yeah, both same thing. Signature
Yeah.
event, elevated event, whatever it
Yeah.
is, but a lot of money on the line, and Scotty will win that one for sure. I don't care what it is. He's only won about $25 million so far this year.
Yeah, you about shattered the record already.
Yeah. And if he wins like the FedEx, I mean, he could push $50 million by the end of the year.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, the FedEx is going to be 15 million first prize, you know, and he's
Yeah.
2,000 points ahead on the FedEx list.
Yeah.
Whoever is in second, which I think it's Shoffley. I
Yeah,
think
it's
I think they would have to win 3 tournaments in a high finish to even come close to the amount of FedEx points that he has.
Yeah, but you know the way they set it up now, you don't have to. He can win the tour championship and still be way behind on the
Yeah.
money list. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Well, anyway, got to let you go. This has been great. The Happy Hour Lifestyle Show. Many thanks to you for putting all your hard work and time. It's going to be interesting to see how our lists go. I might have thrown one away on Tiger, but you know, we'll sit and see.
But you know, if he wins, you will have been the only person that has, that picked him.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
never know. You never know. So anyway, you have a great evening, and we'll start looking at our picks tomorrow morning.
Sounds good. Have a great week.
Yeah, be safe out there, Richard. Talk to you next. All righty, bye-bye.
Bye.